A live look from the action cam in Clay County. Crews have been collecting potential evidence from a home on Gano Avenue. The sheriff's office has confirmed that they are searching that home in connection with Summer Thompson's murder. We'll have the very latest on the investigation just ahead at 10:30.
Meanwhile, the family of 17-year-old Makia Coney is also desperate for answers tonight. We know police have questioned at least one person in connection to her murder, but so far no arrests. The key in both Makia Coney and Summer Thompson's cases may come down to DNA evidence.
In the primetime TV crime dramas, DNA can be examined in just minutes. It takes a lot longer in real life. 3.5 years ago, Florida had a major backlog in testing DNA evidence. The FDLE reported the average time in June of 2006 to get the DNA evidence back was 200 days. Steps were put into place to drop the backlog. Tonight, we want to know how it's working. Action News' Catherine Varnum investigates this wait for justice.
Well, Mark, Summer Thompson's family is not alone in their wait for DNA evidence. Action News discovered there are more than 165 families in the greater Jacksonville area that were waiting at least 4 months for justice.
I mean, those two words.
Samantha Lloyd makes sure her third grader gets her homework done every night.
Like grinding or something?
But it's Khadijah who makes sure the doors are locked when her and her mom get home. It's what happened when the doors were unlocked one morning that the two have burned in their minds. A stranger came out of the bushes right behind them.
He came up behind me, like I said, and put a gun to what I thought was a gun to my head. He went under my shirt, feeling me up. He had took me around the house. He had made me pull my pants down.
Samantha was raped, and her 8-year-old was right there. When her rapist left, she did what's hard for so many victims.
And I picked up the cordless phone and called the police.
A rape kit is taken, used to test for DNA. DNA that could get a perp off the streets.
I was just really scared.
And Samantha's not alone in her fear. CBS News did an investigation revealing tens of thousands of rape kits are untested, leaving victims in limbo and rapists on the streets. In the story, CBS reported the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office said it didn't know how many tested or untested kits are in storage. So we went to JSO for answers. The Director of Investigations and Homeland Security told us kits taken go to the FDLE lab for testing. Okay. So we went to FDLE.
This is how the kits come to us.
FDLE says it takes on average no more than 111 days to completely test and analyze a kit. But it was a different story when we were there.
We asked the FDLE to pull a kit to test. They pulled a kit from a rape victim who said she was raped here in this Westside apartment complex in November of 2008. But that kit wasn't tested until last month. A little longer than usual, I'd say. Usually things sit for about 6 months before they're assigned.
The FDLE claims this kit slipped through the cracks because it was given to a tech who left the job. Then that kit had to be reassigned. An FDLE spokesperson says the agency doesn't know for sure how many others fell through the cracks, but estimate no more than 15. And we found they have many backlog cases too, 141 to be exact, taking on average almost 6 months to analyze.
How about an all-day affair to look at a kit?
The FDLE in Jacksonville tests kits for 13 counties. In 2009, the FDLE tested nearly 400 kits. But the majority of their backlog cases involved JSO. Victims are left in limbo. The same way Samantha felt before DNA from her rape kit was matched to this man through a database, Richard Lavelle Edwards.
We would leave out of the house with knives in our hands to get in the car.
But Samantha sleeps easier now, and her daughter feels safer playing in the backyard.
It was an awful experience. It's not one that I would wish on anybody.
But there are 117 victims still waiting for justice.
And it is important to note here, there is a lot of crime in Jacksonville, a lot of it needing DNA evidence. The FDLE lab tells us in the greater Jacksonville area lab here in 2009, they took in more than 3,500 samples to test. Now, we also want to note, normally we are not showing the faces and identities of raped victims, but Samantha agreed to talk openly with us for this story. We're live in Clay County tonight. I'm Catherine Varnum, Action News.
It is important for us to tell you that the FDLE has cut the backlog nearly in half.